Welcome to the Mount Pleasant Podcast, featuring discussions and interviews about the people, places, and events that make Mount Pleasant such a special place.
This is the Mount Pleasant Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Cleary, and all thanks to the great people of Mount Pleasant Magazine, I get the honor and the privilege of introducing you to Mount Pleasant, the people who make it such a special place to do business, to work, and even to live. We're introducing you to Mount Pleasant's best on the Mount Pleasant Podcast. There is nothing like going to the beach. I personally, maybe you as well, love to go to where? The Isle of Palms. But the Isle of Palms is more than just a beach. It's businesses, it's residents, it's great people. And we're going to introduce you to a couple of them today here on Mount Pleasant Podcast. I'm Brian Cleary, joined by the president of the Isle of Palms Chamber of Commerce, Katrina Limbach. And we're also joined by the vice president of that organization, Ryan Buckhannon. Ryan, Trina, welcome to the Mount Pleasant Podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks so much. We're really excited to be here.
Well, Ryan, let me start with you. As vice president, do you have to refer to Trina as Madam President?
She likes us to do that, but it's part of the bylaw. She requested that I was in there.
So, Madam President, some people may be surprised, or maybe surprised in a different way. There wasn't an Isle of Palms Chamber of Commerce. Is it people are more surprised that there wasn't one, or now that there is one?
Oh, certainly that there wasn't one. It was mind-boggling to everybody that there wasn't one. So now when we're introducing the fact that we have this newly formed Isle of Palms Chamber of Commerce, they're like, newly formed? How has there not been a Chamber of Commerce for this long? And so, it's really cool. It puts us in a great opportunity. We've got a lot of support and we've got a lot of things that we can accomplish.
And so how was it from your standpoint? You knew there was a need. So talk about, and Ryan, you can chime in on this as well. What were the steps that you had to take to go, you know what? Somebody's got to do this. Somebody's got to step up. We need a chamber. It's important to the Isle of Palms. What was that process like?
Right. I mean, in the last couple of years, especially with COVID, things got tricky for businesses, for residents, for everybody. And so we started to see as, COVID started to, go down a little bit, that there was these disconnects between communities, and that's between the business community and residents, between the business community and maybe Mount Pleasant's business community, and really most notably between the city and the business community. And so we sent out an email and just said, hey, who wants to get together and let's just chat about how we can have a unified voice with the city and also, create a brand and a welcoming messages to our residents, also to our neighbors over in Mount Pleasant, James Island, downtown Charleston. How can we do that? And so we got so much response from that. We had a roundtable. The first one was at the Windjammer. And we had a lot of business owners show up and just get really excited about joining forces and forming this. And really the rest is kind of history.
So Ryan, when something like this happens, there's a good idea that always comes out and people go, yes, yes, yes. But then all of a sudden there's work to be done to get it. Everybody loves a great idea. Not everybody loves to put the time in. Obviously, you decided to do so. What was the motivation for you to go, yeah, not only do I think this is a good idea, but I want to be a part of it?
Well, as part of it, really, my background is I've served on city council here for the last 22 years. And I just finished my tenure back in December. And when this started picking up, and for the last 20 years, I really have been the voice for businesses out here on the island as a member of city council. There was a disconnect. And when Trina picked up the ball and started rolling with this and started connecting the communities, and that's really what our tagline is, connecting communities. It's connecting, the business community with the government, connecting the residents with the businesses, and connecting, basically the island with the visitors. And that's really what we want to go to and really promote the good aspects of the island. And COVID, like Trina said, it really, the island had a black eye, and we really want to try to recover from that and show what we have to offer.
Everyone's talking about real estate. The conversation continues with Voice for Real Estate podcast. Listen and learn from the experts who call the Carolinas home. Podcast advertising gives your business a voice of authority. Be heard. Advertise on this podcast. Visit voiceforrealestate.com.
You're listening to the Mount Pleasant Podcast.
So Trina, we have a little Ryan's background there. What about you? What is it that you bring to the table in terms of your residency on the Isle of Palms, but what skill set, what business do you bring to the Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah, I own the Isle of Palms Beach Share Company. We do the beach service out here. I have an extensive background in branding and marketing and destination marketing specifically. And I'm also a mother of 3 young boys, and I live out here. And so I feel that I have a really good idea of that balance between being a business owner, being a mother of 3 children who don't want to, I don't want to see the island overrun with tourism all the time. However, I do want people to come and feel welcome and enjoy our island lifestyle out here. We really want to share it and preserve it at the same time. And so that's really what I'm trying to bring, at least my background, to the chamber and to our mission.
So you've got 3 young boys.
Mm-hmm.
Let's shout them out. How old are they, and what are their names?
I have Paul, and he'll be 6 in September. Benji will be 3 in September, and Luke will be 1 in July. So I have 3 boys.
And somebody who just flipped on and is listening and watching the podcast is going, 6, 3, and 1. How do you have time to have life, much less be the president of the Chamber of Commerce and run a business?
Right. It's all about balance. It's about balance, and it's about boundaries and values. And so as long as you live by those boundaries and those values, when I go home from work, I take my phone, I put it somewhere else, I flip it upside down, I turn it on silent. And people know if they need me, they can email me. And if it's an emergency, call my husband, because he's got his. But having that balance, and being really engaged in what you're doing when you're doing it is really important to maintaining that. So, it's tricky sometimes, but I've always been kind of a little Energizer bunny. So for me, it's fulfilling. It couldn't be more fulfilling to have these different things going on.
Excellent lessons for life that we're learning today on Mount Pleasant Podcast. I'm Brian Cleary, joined by Katrina Limbach. She's the president of the new Isle of Palms Chamber of Commerce. The vice president is also with us. And Ryan, can you tell us, we know about Trina. What about your background outside of council and family?
Yeah, I have 3 boys as well, Ashton, Beck, and Colin. And they were fortunate enough to be raised out here. They're 23 now, and 2 of them work for me. I'm a general contractor out here, do a lot of renovations out here on the island. Very rarely do I have to leave the island. And so it makes it super nice to live, work, and play out here. But I have some rental property. I own Stay IOP, Stay Charleston. I own all the Stay local beaches. And so we have rental property throughout the Charleston area. And that keeps us busy as well.
So Ryan, I think when most people think of Chamber of Commerce, and as Trina talked about, the connection between the chamber and businesses, bringing businesses with government, but then the residents as well. So as someone who's a resident of the Isle of Palms, how is it that the chamber can affect / help them?
Well, we really wanted to be a portal that almost anybody can go to, whether you're a resident, whether you're a business owner, whether you're a visitor. Residents really, we've seen such a really big influx of new people coming to the island, let alone the Charleston area, just due to COVID. They're not aware of what's available to them. There's a lot of experiences out here that people are not aware of, whether it's, the excursions at the marina or what's available at the rec center or what our businesses have to offer for our residents. And we want our chamber to be the portal for anybody to go through and utilize and just make it easy for them to get the needs and services that they want.
So Trina, which was the first business on the Isle of Palms to become a chamber member? And for a business that might be tuning in or listening to the podcast, they're thinking, hey, I want to become a member of the Isle of Palms Chamber of Commerce. How can I do that?
It's hard to say who was the first business. I would say that, we all have, the board, when we opened membership, I think we all were the first people to sign in our checks, but we had the advantage of knowing how to do it, quicker than others. We've had a really large influx of short-term rental company owners and managers joining, and restaurants. And also we have, contractors and painters and, really a whole slew. So we opened for membership on April 26th and a little over a month ago, and we've got over 20 members now. And they're trickling in a few per week. The best way to go ahead and join right now would be, we have a website that is under development. It's going to be a really great website. Like Ryan said, it's going to be a resource instead of TripAdvisor for Isle of Palms or a different type of guide. This is going to be a really locally driven guide. And on there, we'll list all of our businesses. For now, there is a placeholder website up there at iopchamber.com. And you can go there, click join now, and fill out the form. You can pay using PayPal or send a check. And then that's how we're enrolling right now until we get our more sophisticated technology up and running.
And Trina, if I have my information correct, and hopefully I do, is it true that the town of Mount Pleasant has become a member of the Isle of Palms Chamber of Commerce?
Wow, news travels fast, doesn't it, Ryan?
It does.
That's great. We just spoke with their director over there to see if we can do a reciprocal membership. We really want to bridge that gap between Mount Pleasant and Isle of Palms because there's been, COVID was tough, and it was tough on policymakers and decisions that were made that maybe should or shouldn't have been made at different times. And we really just want to bridge that gap because our children go to school together, we're neighbors, and we really want to have that neighborly vibe. And so we're hoping that, starting with the chamber, we can do that.
So Ryan, as vice president of the Chamber of Commerce, let's just assume that I own a business. I'm on the Isle of Palms. Make a pitch to me. Why is it that I should put my business in and join the Isle of Palms Chamber of Commerce?
We're really trying to be a medium between the government and the businesses. And you really need to have somebody lobbying on your side. And we really want it to be a great network to network organization where you can reach out to other businesses within the community and either, rely on them to help with you with what you need, or you can offer services to them. What we'd like to see is that discounted business to business service. And I think we're going to see a lot of that. We're already seeing it now, either through some of the local media, like I said, with Mount Pleasant Chamber. So it really is a networking opportunity for all businesses out here and throughout the Charleston area.
And Trina, with all these different businesses come together, on one sense, you guys are competitors, I guess, but on the other sense, you're coming together. That has to create what word should I use? Interesting dynamic from time to time, but it seems like for everybody to agree that, hey, this is necessary and come together, that seems to trump the competition part of it, or is it all one thing together?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't even really thought about that aspect of feeling competitive because that's just not the vibe you get when you go into these meetings. It's really just like, hey man, what's up? What's going on, Ryan? Hey, Sandy, what's up? And it's a real, everybody kind of knows each other. We're a small knit community. So to have, that really stark competition would really just, I think, dilute our just general, feeling of happiness. And so I don't, of course there's competition. There's always going to be competition. But when it comes to the chamber and chamber meetings, we're all here for the same thing. We're all here to, advance commerce by serving residents and guests. That's our mission. So we come together, and I think it just makes things better and, again, more neighborly. We're here for positive connections. When
we all work together, and Katrina says this all the time, a rising tide lifts all ships. And we are all ships in this business, in this climate out here. And if we work together, we all float together.
Today on Mount Pleasant Podcast, we're talking with Katrina Limbach. She's the president of the new Isle of Palms Chamber of Commerce, and the vice president of the Isle of Palms Chamber of Commerce is joining us as well. And we're talking about the Isle of Palms because the Isle of Palms is going to be featured in the July-August issue of Mount Pleasant Magazine. You want to check that out. Lots of good stories in there, including a feature on the Isle of Palms Mayor Phillips Pounds. So let me kind of segue to that, Trina. A new mayor this year as well with the new Chamber of Commerce. I have to ask you about this. You may not want to comment on it, and that's fine. But the secession push that is also part of the Isle of Palms. You, as the chamber, you and both Ryan have both stated about how it's important for business and government to work together. How has that started out for you guys being new, working with council, working with the mayor?
I don't understand. I'm a little lost in the secession part. You're talking about the mayor and having the kind of the new council working with us being new.
Well, there was the meeting that they had down where there are some members of the town who believe that the Isle of Palms should secede from the state of South Carolina.
Two separate questions.
Proposition. I don't know if you want to comment on that as far as the chamber.
We're focusing on our mission right now, so we're really focusing on just getting memberships, getting our feet on the ground. and working closely with the government and the new mayor and the new council. I just had a meeting yesterday afternoon with the city administrator, Desiree Fragoso, and she is just amazing. She's been with the city a few years now. Ryan could probably comment a little more, but her and I have been working really close along with Philip Pounds, just in having that open dialogue. If there's a question that comes up from some of my members that seems that I feel we should bring to them, I do. And they tell me, here's the way we should go about this. This is the best way to facilitate that information, that the business might have an opinion on something. This is how we go through the process. We're actually just talking about, moving some certain things around on the island from a signage purpose to make it feel more welcoming to visitors when they come onto the island. So instead of coming onto the island and seeing a big sign that says, no, 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 we want them to come on the island and say, welcome to the island. Here's what you can do. Maybe what you should do. And then just moving things around to make it seem that we have that more welcoming appeal that we all feel strongly about.
And Ryan, since you served on council for so long, obviously you've got the experience in terms of the government aspect of that. How do you see it playing out, and how's it been with the new mayor and new council?
It's been really good. I mean, they've been really, the mayor, the city administrator, as well as the balance of council has been really receptive to what we've taken on and what we're trying to achieve. They know that we can work together and really make the island a better environment for everybody. When the government works with the local community, works with local businesses, it elevates everything throughout the community.
And Ryan, you mentioned your three boys. They're all grown in the 20s right now. If I was walking on the IOP beach, where would I find you, and what's your and your boys' favorite beach activity?
We're out in the boat. So we spend more time out in the boat now. We spend it on the backside of the island, or we're offshore. So my boys are 20. They're triplets, so they're 23 years old. Two of them work for me, and one is a chef for a grit counter. So, but we spend the majority of our time out fishing, and we just love doing that.
Triplets. So there's what a 18-month period of your life where you never got any sleep.
Yeah, it was rarely that we did, but it was, and I feel really fortunate that our boys were able to grow up, early on in the development of the island before it got way too hectic. And my boys were 9 months old when I first got elected to council, and like I said, they just turned 23, and I just finished council. So they grew up within the city government. They grew up in the fire department. They grew up in the police department. Honestly, I'm not sure if they like it or not, because they really couldn't go anywhere on this island without somebody knowing who they were or what they were getting into.
That has its advantage as a parent to keep everybody in line. Trina, What about you? Are you a beach person? And where might I find you and your boys if you're out on the beach?
We are between pool and beach most afternoons. We're just trying to, swimming is really important to us, to have small children. Getting them comfortable in the water and able to, swim confidently is something that's really important to us. But yeah, I mean, my 2-year-old, he loves digging little holes, of course, filling them up. We are always enjoying the rec center, which I have to, give some kudos over to Ryan, because Ryan did a lot of play in making the rec center what it is today in his career on city council. So we're really thankful for where it is and how we can enjoy the parks and the different programs they have there. And we're typically somewhere between the park and the beach and the pool.
Well, Ryan, then a thank you to you for the rec center and all that. My wife and I participate many years in the Isle of Palms yard sale, and my wife has been profitable each time. So we'll give you kudos for that. You've been somebody who's been on the island a long time. I'm coming over from Goose Creek, from Somerville. Tell me something that you know about the Isle of Palms, maybe some secret place or some secret business or something that people may not realize about the Isle of Palms that you'd want them to know.
What's interesting, a lot of times people come across that bridge, and when I was down here, that bridge wasn't there, but when you come across that bridge, it's such a majestic view, and they come across and they go straight and they head down to the commercial district. But really, one of our hidden gems is our marina. And what's the services that are offered there. And we do, what the marina store has to offer. I do all my Mother's Day shopping, my Christmas shopping. everything I have to do down there is usually down at the Isle of Palms Marina. It really is a great place to grab something to eat and hang out at and just watch the boats come in and out. And a lot of people aren't aware of it because it is off the beaten path.
Trina, is there a place that you could direct people to? Something that you know that's, I don't want to blow any secrets for you. Of course, now you have to give it up to other people in terms of some place that you may know of. But there's some gems on the Isle of Palms that people aren't aware of. Is there one that stands out for you?
Probably if you've never come here before, you're not aware of Breach Inlet and the sunsets and the dolphin viewing. 9 times out of 10, you get on there and sit for 10 minutes and you're going to see dolphins feeding in the marshes, depending on the tide. But that's a really beautiful place to visit, in my opinion, to bring some kids, bring a blanket, maybe a picnic, and just kind of hang out down there and watch the sun go down. That would be somewhere that I would recommend.
And Ryan, a lot of times being in the Chamber of Commerce for a big city or someplace that's not as beautiful as the Isle of Palms is a lot tougher sell. But wow, Isle of Palms, you haven't set the bar all that high. It makes it a little easier for you, Chamber of Commerce, to say, hey, beach, sunshine, great restaurants. We got it all here.
It is. We try to offer everything. And that's really what we're trying to offer as a chamber is just, it's not just heads and beds anymore is what we're trying to, it's just, we want to make it in Trina.
Experiential marketing.
Experiential. And that's really what we want. Yeah. Whether you come over in the morning and you hit the beach, or you come over in the morning and you do an excursion at the marina and then you hit lunch, have lunch at the dinghy or any other places along the front beach area, then take off in the evening. You can do a round of golf in the day or whatever. It's just experiential. And that's really what we want to do, is have everybody have the opportunity to experience the island life.
Experiential marketing, man, that says a lot right there. So Trina, we'll give you all kind of kudos for coining that phrase. People are interested in the Chamber of Commerce. The website's obviously the place to go. So again, let folks know where they can go to get information and if they're interested to become a member.
Yeah, if you'd like to come and join, please go to iopchamber.com. There's a little link that says join now. This is just a placeholder website until our website is fully launched, which should happen late summer, early fall. Very excited about that. Our social media is about to be up and running, and we're planning to be very active on that with announcements. But if you'd like to join, iopchamber.com and click join now.
Katrina Limbach is the president. Ryan Buckhannon is the vice president at the brand new Isle of Palms Chamber of Commerce. Katrina, Ryan, thanks for your time today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much, Ryan. We really appreciate you taking the time for us today.
And thank you for joining us on Mount Pleasant Podcast. Don't forget, the Isle of Palms is going to be featured in the July-August issue of Mount Pleasant Magazine. It's free for you to pick up. It's always a great read, some terrific information in there, and we're proud to be associated with the Mount Pleasant Magazine. This is Brian Cleary. Thanks again for listening to our Mount Pleasant Podcast.
Thanks for spending your time with the Mount Pleasant Podcast, your community, your podcast. Listen to past and future episodes at mountpleasantpodcast.com.